Today we are talking all about manifesting generators. Woo! I'm a manifesting generator, so I wanted to start with this episode because I feel like it's the easiest place to start. And when you're starting something new, do the thing that feels like, I got this. Like, I can do this one thing and take that next step, right? So, manifesting generators, all of this, all of this energy work takes awareness, right? And depending on where you're at in your life, what your life experiences were, trauma, not trauma, whatever, determines like how conditioned we are. And there's no right or wrong to where you're at. I just want you to feel that right now that you are in exactly the right place that you are meant to be in. And from my personal experience, when I lean into and express who I truly am from my unique energy, that's when everything else like falls into place and I'm able to quote unquote manifest in the easiest way possible. I have tons of experience of doing it against the grain, trying to create for my ideas, trying to push the boulder up the hill in order to create what I wanted, and it never ended well, and generally, I didn't get what I wanted. I got something, well, you could say that I got what I needed. I got the lesson that I needed, in that moment. So, take everything you hear today with a grain of salt and, you know, take what resonates and leave the rest. That's the whole point, is you get to decide what feels right for you, and so I just ask that you tune into your intuition and follow along. So, manifesting generators are technically a subset of the generator, but we also have some manifestory energy to us, right? And your aura is very enveloping, like the generator. It like pulls people in. I know that when I'm high vibing, when I'm feeling really good, feeling like myself, literally, I feel like a magnet. Like things are drawn to me versus when I'm trying to show up and be someone other than myself. When I look out and I'm like, oh, like they're talking about that. I should go talk about that. No, no, it never ends well. It never attracts the right people, right? So when I'm in my energy and confident in who I am, it draws more people that are in that same energy, that are in their own, they want that confidence, right? So I want you to take a look at how you show up and asking some questions of number one, do you feel like yourself when you show up? And if you don't, that's okay. This is all a learning experience, right? So most of the MGs that I meet are pretty optimistic and bubbly, kind of like myself. I'm definitely love my alone time, right? Like just because you're an optimistic person doesn't mean that you don't love your alone time. It just means that when you are showing up, when you're with people, you feel happy. You feel happy to be with other people and just in their company, right? And generally optimistic about the world, even with everything the world is right now. You want to feel that optimistic side of you. So, the manifesting generators have the sacral. You may be an emotional manifesting generator, but you still have your sacral. You still have that lean in, like, yes. And maybe you even feel this like when somebody says, hey, do you want to go to Turks and Caicos? You're like, yes. Oh my God, yes. Or maybe someone says, hey, you want to go to this party on Friday? And you're like, not really. But like, you want to say yes because you wanna make other people happy, but you know in your gut the true answer. And it is so, so important that you lean into that yes or no. That yes or no is guiding you whether you understand it or not. And it's so important that you listen to it when you can't, even when you can't make sense of it, okay? So, number one, maybe even asking yourself, do I trust my sacral response? Do I trust when I am like, yes, or no? Do you go against it? And if you do, that's okay. But what has been the experience when you go against it? What happens? How does life unfold when you're not tapped into that sacral response? And the other thing I want to touch on here with the sacral response is that we c- we can't force it. There we go. We can't force it, and if it's not there, that's an answer too. I share a story about when I was looking for floor tile for our shower, and I went to the tile shop looking for a tile that matched what we had in the rest of the bathroom. And the salesman was very adamant, very helpful, but he wouldn't leave me alone. And I know that I have a hard time making decisions when there's a pressure, when there's an emotional pressure, somebody is expecting something, there's whatever, right? There's an emotional pressure there. I can't make a decision. He wouldn't leave. I couldn't tap into the sacral. There was nothing happening. Nothing felt like, meh, but I bought this tile anyway. Because I was like, I think it's going to work. Like I tried to force it, right? I tried to logically come up with the answer. Got home, put it in the shower, and it didn't work at all. It was like an immediate, absolutely no. So then I had to take it back, right? Like that wasn't a sustainable choice for us because I now have to drive back to the store and return it and do like that whole song and dance, right? So versus in the moment being like, you know what? I'm not feeling it. I'm not going to buy it. And that's hard to do when there's someone expecting something of you, right? That's what I still work through on a daily basis is listening to my own sacral response while understanding what other people are expecting of me and being okay with what my body is telling me is not always what they want to hear. It's not always what they want, right? And how do you reconcile that has been a huge learning curve. So I want other MGs to understand this that when you become aware of what is going on in your body versus what other people are thinking and feeling, there could be some reconciliation that needs to happen. You need to understand that like you can't control what they're feeling. So the only thing you can do is control how you feel. And if your body is telling you yes or your body's telling you no or nothing, then we need to listen to it and be okay with it. And the more that you are truly accepting of what's going on with you, the more other people will be accepting of you as well. The more people won't project their stuff onto you, right? That was a huge tangent that I was not planning on talking about. Okay. So, your strategy as an MG is waiting for the world to come to you and you get to respond to the world, right? The world gets to come to you. Holy Hannah. How much do you actually want to just initiate the hell out of everything? I did. You want to go, I have this amazing idea. I'm going to go create it. Most MGs are super, super ambitious and very like, I'm just going to make shit happen because this is what I do, right? You want things to happen faster. And when they're not happening faster, you push them. And guaranteed that's not going to go well because I've done it multiple times. And here's the thing. The world is always coming to you. You are always responding to your life. And if the things that are coming to you are not what you want, then there's something that's out of alignment, right? That's when the frustration comes in, right? That emotional theme of when you're in alignment and when you're not. And when things are coming to you that frustrate you, there's something out of alignment and you need to investigate what that is. So some examples of to respond in life. Okay. So say you want to create an offer. Awesome. You have an idea. You're like, "Oh, this is going to make the best offer." And you immediately think all the ways that it's going to be amazing and help and impact people and make you money and blah blah blah, right? This is where my mind always used to go. Still does in a lot of ways. You think, "Oh, this is going to be great." And so you go out and you create it. and then it falls flat. Versus creating something that comes from your intuitive knowing and is responding to the world. So say you see so many clients with this problem and you're like, I can help this. And there's like an intuitive knowing that you could create something that would help them. Um, and it's a sacral response. It could be splenic, right? It's this intuitive body knowing that you can help them and you're responding to an issue in the world. You create from that place without projecting what you think it will do. And that's super, super key. It was we're not creating this because it's going to be a windfall in your high tech, your like six-figure launch. We're creating this because you see a problem that you know that you can fix in two very different places. The first place is coming from ego, right? It's coming from I want, which if your will center is defined, could be how you work. Very few people are though. If your will center is defined, let me know. We can talk about that. Versus creating from an intuitive knowing and from a place of detachment. When we're creating from that detachment, we're creating with a higher understanding and a higher knowing, right? So that ultimately ends up being far better than the thing that you think you want and you try and push and create, right? We're manifesting generators are really good at trying and pushing and creating from our ideas, and it's not a good idea. It's never a good idea. Trust me. So let's go back to strategy a little bit more in terms of responding. So say someone says, hey, would you create a masterclass on something? And you're like, yes, that would be amazing. I'm totally on board with that. Stop for a moment and imagine what you would do or what would you talk about in that masterclass, right? Imagine how it would help the other people. Imagine what you would share. And then if it still feels aligned and someone asks you again, like I even ask for like a second thing to show up, like universe, send me something else to make sure that this is the right next step. And then again, feel into it. When it shows up in your reality again, feel into it. Yes, yes, this is still a yes. Then take action. I do this especially with really big decisions, either like joining a big mastermind, or when we bought our house, I was asking for multiple, like almost incessantly, like making sure that this was the right decision. Don't be afraid to ask again. Like the universe will show up for you every single time. So I have a couple journaling questions that you can ask yourself to help you create a new offer if you are in that camp. Um, and it's, am I creating from my mind? Is this something I think I'm creating it because I think it'll make money, or I'm creating it because it's similar to what someone else is doing and I think it's going to be successful? Or am I truly creating from what I desire? What do I really want for the world? And how is that showing up in my reality right now for me to respond to? And my favorite question, if money wasn't a problem, what would I be doing? When I asked myself this question, I was like, I would totally be talking about random topics. Not random. I'd be talking about human design, I'd be talking about like spiritual development and all the things, and then creating really amazing stuff. Like, does it all have a theme? Mostly, yes. But I would be following my own creative impulses and creating from what lights me up and what gets me excited. That's what I would be doing, which is why I created a podcast, because I need more of that in my life. Um, okay, let's talk about emotional themes of satisfaction and frustration. Satisfaction is what we're reaching for. It's that feeling of like, yes, I feel really satisfied in my work. I feel really, for me, it's about being challenged creatively. I get to express my creativity in whatever way I want. Um, Life feels juicy. And when I'm not in alignment, when I'm not feeling, there's frustration. There's like a stagnant, like, it's almost like wheels grinding. I feel frustrated because this isn't going the way I wanted it to, generally. That is a sign that something needs to shift. And it could be something just really small. Maybe it's in your energy field that needs to shift. Maybe it's a tiny detail of your program that needs to shift. Maybe it's a total overhaul, right? Like you are in charge of that, but that frustration, the bigger it gets, the more pronounced in your life it's going to be. And the more frustration leads to I don't matter. My voice doesn't matter. I'm not worthy. I'm not enough. So pay attention to that frustration. It is here to help guide you back on your path. If you need help getting back on that path and getting out of that frustration to understand what is truly in alignment for you, definitely reach out because I love doing that. Love, love, love helping people with that. So let's talk about the last piece of it, which is expressing yourself. I am all about helping women express themselves in the world, sharing your message, your voice, taking up fucking space in this world, doing what you love. How do you do that as a manifesting generator? So, number one, from my background in copy, it's about being conversational. It's about drawing the reader in and making them a part of your conversation, your story, like asking questions along the way of like, do you feel this? Does that make sense? What do you think? Right. And drawing them in because that's what they want to do. When you are creating this back and forth conversation with people, it's your aura all like synchronized with the other person, right? Um, Share your excitement. Share what freaking lights you up, even if it makes zero sense to anyone else or even to yourself. What are you excited about? What are you passionate about? MGs a lot of times bring what seemingly don't belong together together, blending copywriting and human design, right? That's what I was all about. I'm still all about it. Like bringing those two things together to really show people how much faster you can get to a destination. Really, human design helps you understand who you are. Copywriting helps you make sure that that message is clear, and together they help you create a message that is totally a blue ocean because you are unique. When you show up as you, that's what people want. They want you to show up as you and share your gifts and be in your power because it inspires them to be in their power, right? Um, so what are you pulling together? What are you passionate about? Um, and I will say that you don't have to have a business with all of your passions in one. I don't. I have actually two businesses so that I can have two different like avenues of creativity that allow me to, depending on however I want to be expressing myself today, that it gives me those avenues, right? Along with being a mother and along with my passion for design and um, fixing up our house. And, that it's not even a business, right? Just do what freaking lights you up. If I can tell you nothing else, do what lights you up. What brings you joy? What makes you happy? Lean into that. We need more of that in this world. And MGs are here and generators too, to really show people how to have a fucking good time while doing what you love. Um, you also have a defined throat. As an MG, you have a defined throat. You have a very specific way of talking. There is going to be a dominant voice within you. So looking at what channels are going to your throat. Is it from your ajna? Is it from your spleen, your sacral, your heart, your will, your solar plexus? That will determine the energy that is the most dominant for you to talk about. And that'll be like the easy thing to talk about. That's the energy that will easily flow out of you. There'll be other times, depending on what's happening in the collective, what's happening with the people around you, depending on who you're around, will light up different gates, things like that. You'll have access to other energy. But by and large, you have a dominant voice. And so look into what those channels are trying to say. If you want help with that, again, definitely book a session because that's my favorite. Really diving into your voice. What is your voice and how is it unique from everyone else? What do you want to talk about? Right? Okay, let's recap. So don't create ideas from your head. Don't respond to life using your sacral, right? Find what's satisfying and go do it. Oh, go do it. When you're feeling frustrated, lean into that and figure out what's not in alignment. Be conversational in your copy and in your business. Draw people in to what you're doing and share what you're passionate about and what feels satisfying. Like if you sat in your energy and was like, I am super satisfied, I love my life, what would I talk about? Guaranteed you're going to be like, I'm going to talk about this. Go talk about that. Go do that. That's the important piece. So that is manifesting generators in a really fast, like snapshot of who you are, what your aura is here to say and be. And this is the foundation to really understanding who you are in my experience. In my experience, it's the foundation to really understanding how you show up, how you want to be, right? I think we are so conditioned in so many different ways. Life tells us what to be. People tell us how to be, and this is not who we are. And this podcast is truly all about helping you uncover who you are so that you can express it out into the world and feel confident, right? The byproduct of that is manifesting everything that you want and really taking up space the way you truly want to take up space. And so thank you so much for being here. I am so excited to get this podcast off the ground and really get started in 2022. This year is going to be amazing. If you need help diving into your human design chart and want more information, check out the show notes for session details. Come join the free Facebook group. I am always in there and always willing to help you and show you your path so that you can find your way. Thank you so, so much. And go be you, babe.